I started receiving text messages from my own phone number. About a year ago, I bought a new phone after my old one stopped working. Everything was normal for the first few weeks until one night when I received a text message from an unknown number. The message simply said, "Don't go to work tomorrow." I thought it was a prank. I ignored it and went to bed. The next morning, I noticed something strange. The message hadn't come from an unknown number. It had come from my own phone number. I stared at the screen for several seconds. I even sent myself a test message from another phone to compare the numbers. It was definitely mine. I figured it was some kind of technical glitch and went to work anyway. Around noon, a delivery truck crashed through an intersection less than a minute after I crossed the street on my lunch break. If I had left the office at my usual time, I would have been standing exactly where the truck lost control. That evening, I remembered the text. "Don't go to work tomorrow." A chill ran through me. I convinced myself it was a coincidence. Then 3 days later, another message arrived. Again, from my own number. "Take a different route home." At this point, I was officially creeped out. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. Instead of taking my normal route, I drove through a different part of town. When I got home, I checked local news. A major accident had shut down the road I normally used. Several people were injured. For the first time, I started feeling afraid. Who was sending these messages? And how did they know things before they happened? Over the next few months, more messages appeared. Some were simple. "Don't trust the man in the blue jacket." A few hours later, I learned a coworker had been fired for stealing from employees. Others were more specific. "Cancel your flight." That same flight ended up making an emergency landing due to mechanical issues. Each message arrived from my own phone number. Each message turned out to be correct. I became obsessed with finding answers. I contacted my phone provider. Nothing unusual. I hired a cybersecurity expert. Nothing. I even replaced my phone. The messages continued. No matter what device I used, they always arrived. Always from my own number. Then one night, everything changed. I received a message that simply said, "Do not open the door at 9:14 p.m. I checked the time. 9:03. My heart started racing. I locked every door and window in the house. At exactly 9:14 p.m., somebody knocked. 3 slow knocks. Then silence. I stood frozen. The person knocked again. I looked through the peephole. Nobody was there. The porch was empty. The street was empty. There was absolutely no one outside. Then my phone vibrated. Good. That was the entire message. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I reviewed my security camera footage. The recording showed something impossible. At exactly 9:14 p.m., a man had walked onto my porch. He looked directly at the camera. Then the footage glitched. When the video returned a few seconds later, he was gone. Not walking away. Not leaving. Gone. As if he had never been there. I zoomed in on the frame before the glitch. The man looked familiar. Very familiar. It took me several minutes to realize why. He looked exactly like me. Same height. Same face. Same scar above the eyebrow. My stomach dropped. For days, I couldn't think about anything else. Then another message arrived. "You're running out of time." I immediately replied. "For the first time ever. Who are you?" Several minutes passed. Then my phone buzzed. The response was only 3 words. "You already know." My hands were shaking. Over the next week, the messages became more frequent. Some warned me about small things. Others made no sense at all. Then one arrived that changed everything. "Go to the storage unit." I didn't own a storage unit. At least, I didn't think I did. The message included an address. After some research, I discovered a storage unit registered under my name. I had never seen it before. Never rented it. Never visited it. Yet somehow it existed. The manager unlocked the unit for me. Inside was a desk. A laptop. Several notebooks. And hundreds of printed photographs. Every photograph was of me. Pictures from school. Work. Restaurants. Vacations. Photos spanning nearly 10 years. Then I noticed something else. The notebooks. Every page was written in my handwriting. Not similar. Identical. One notebook was dated nearly 5 years into the future. Another was dated 10 years into the future. My breathing became heavy. I opened one of them. The first page contained a sentence that nearly made me faint. "If you're reading this, the messages are working." I flipped through page after page. The notebooks described events from my life. Events that hadn't happened yet. Future jobs. Future relationships. Future mistakes. Future tragedies. Then I reached the final notebook. The final entry was only a few paragraphs long. It explained everything. Or at least tried to. According to the notebook, the messages were being sent by me. Not present-day me. Future me. The writer claimed that years from now, an experiment involving advanced technology had gone horribly wrong. He discovered a way to send limited information backward through time. Not enough to change everything. Only enough to send short messages. Warnings. Advice. Instructions. The goal wasn't to become rich. It wasn't to change history. It was to prevent one specific event. The final page described that event. A car accident. One that would kill my wife and daughter years in the future. The messages weren't protecting me. They were preparing me. Teaching me to trust them. Leading me toward the one decision that could save my family. Then I noticed the date written beside the final entry. It was only 6 months away. My entire body went cold. I checked my phone. A new message had arrived. The longest one I had ever received. It said, "Now you know the truth. In 6 months, you'll have a choice. One road leads home. The other leads to the accident. When the day comes, trust me. Choose the road on the left." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then another message appeared. Just one sentence. And somehow it was the most terrifying message of all. Because unlike every warning before it, this one wasn't about the future. It was about right now. It said, "Turn around." I was completely alone inside the storage unit. At least, I thought I was.